everybody. Hello, I'm happy to be here. I'm from Austria. That's why I normally look like this. But I'm not going to talk about me, and I'm not going to talk about media. I'm actually going to talk about insects. So if you take a bee, and you put the bee in a bottle like this, and you walk with the bottle to the garden window, and prop the bottle against the window, the bee wants to get out of the bottle. And it sees there's the garden, that's where I need to fly. So the bee flies towards that garden. But it doesn't get there because there's the bottom of the bottle, right? And it's a good bee, it's a worker bee, so it flies harder because the mom said, if you can't achieve it, put everything you have in it. And the bee puts everything it has in it, and with all the energy and all the power, always keeps flying towards the garden until the bee is dead. The bee will die in the bottle. If you take a fly, put a fly in a bottle, the fly flies towards there, poof, oh, that's not a good thing. Flies around chaotically, and the fly is out in 4 minutes. Because the fly knows that the fly has to change, right? But if we look at change to us looks very chaotic. Oh my God, where am I going now? There's a bottle, oh my God, everything is exploding, it's horrible, right? And we only see the danger. But if we wait a little bit, then we will see that the change is actually there to help us. And change often saves our life. Change in reality is really, really good for you if you like it or not, right? Look at, for instance, Superman. Superman had to come up to Earth, and now he has to change, right? He used to be Clark Kent, and he's a regular guy, and now he's Superman. And Superman knows that only change makes him strong. Superman knows that if he stays doing what Clark Kent is doing, he will not be Superman. So he has to leave the old stuff behind. Everything that Clark Kent has, he has to leave behind. So Clark Kent, for instance, might have a tie. And the tie is a technology that Clark Kent totally understands. You can wake him up in the middle of the night. How do you make a tie? Boom, tie, yeah, I look good, right? So he says, I know a tie, I know how it works, and I love to operate it. And as Superman, can I have a tie? No, probably not. So as Superman, he has to get rid of the tie. So Superman actually goes to Lois Lane and says, hey, Lois, you know what? I know you gave me that tie, but I have to get rid of it. I have to close down your division. And then Lois Lane says, no way, you can't do that. Don't you love me? Don't you love my tie? And Superman says, yes, I love you, and it's been a good technology for what I was. It was very good when I was Clark Kent, but now that I have new jobs to do, now that I'm Superman, I can't have the tie. And boom, he has no tie. So despite the fact that Lois Lane might hate him for his decision, he still does it. But he doesn't only have things that he loves, he also has things that are very expensive. Technology that he invested a lot of money in, like, for instance, shoes. John Lobb shoes, 4,500 pounds, handmade. So he goes to his finance guy and says, you know what, finance man, as Superman, I'm not going to have those shoes. And the finance man says, are you crazy? No way, you have to wait. You just bought them a year ago. You have to wait 10 years so that we can pay the investment of the shoes off after year after year after year, and then you can get rid of the shoes. But Superman knows he can't wait. You know, despite it hasn't been a very big investment in an old technology, shoes, in a technology that he knows how to operate as well, very easy, he knows that this is no more good. And as Superman, he loses the shoes. So what he actually does is replaces technology. He replaces the things that he knows how to do really well with new stuff because he has new jobs to do. And since Superman is not an idiot, he does it in a smart way, right? So he has smart replacement. So let's look at smart replacement. How do you replace technology in a smart way, right? One relatively smart thing might be the brain. Human brain replaces technology all the time. We see synapses here, there's all synapses, there's all things that are in our brain, and the oldest part of the brain is the reptilian brain, and this is this part. The reptilian brain is breathing and digestion and easy things like walking and stuff like that, and that's a really, really good thing. But then we got a little bit smarter, and then on top of the reptilian brain, on top of your old technology, that is the computers about who works with you and vacation and payment, there's a new brain, and that new brain is the limbic system. Doof, that's the emotion. So you don't, in the business world, you have the computer system of who works with you, and then you might have a marketing campaign. So the marketing campaign, that system is probably built on top of the old system, right? And then we got even smarter, and now we have the prefrontal cortex and stuff, and that is built on top of the limbic system. So you're basically, your mobile applications, your real-time advertising, all those kinds of things might be built on top of the existing marketing system. And this is a really, really good system if everything is normal, and everything works fine, and everything works in sequence. Because this system, by definition, works in sequence. The workflow is in sequence, is sequential. So that basically means everything is fine unless something crazy happens. Like you're walking in the desert, you're walking through the desert, and boom, all of a sudden you see a snake. Something crazy happens. So what happens now? Basically, the snake, the image goes to the visual cortex. Oh my God, there's a snake. A snake, I don't feel good about snakes. Oh my God, we have to increase breathing. And then all of a sudden, alarm, and you freeze. So you walk in the desert, and that's when the snake comes, you go, ah. So you have a business, and then somebody orders your cake in pink. Ah. But it's normally in blue, and Joe is on vacation, and I don't know, and now how do I charge for that? And you freeze, right? We freeze because everything that is in sequence is blocked up, and we can't work that way. So there's now a new system, a much smarter replacement that doesn't work in sequence. And what you do is you take the brain, and then you build another brain around that brain. It's a bigger brain. It's really, really big. And the workflow of that bigger brain around the brain is not in sequence, one after the other, but parallel, simultaneously. So that basically means you walk through the desert, you see the snake, poof, everything is activated, you kill the snake, and you have amazing shoes. All systems are ready immediately. So that is basically, somebody orders the cake in pink, you immediately talk to pricing, you immediately talk to distribution, logistics, you immediately know who could deliver it, everything is done simultaneously, you don't wait for one thing to happen after the other, and you can actually keep the client. And this system, this workflow done by the bigger brain is possible because the bigger brain is called the cloud. That is what the cloud is. And cloud computing is basically a very, very fast way and a very, very flexible way to deal with situations that are changing constantly. And the cloud is everywhere. And everything that is everywhere, we can also call an atmosphere. Our atmosphere is everywhere. We don't even see the air that we breathe. We are not aware that it exists, but it's everywhere. And you have all the mobile devices on you, and you don't even know that they're sending data and receiving data constantly because data is everywhere. So basically, atmosphere is something that is everywhere and that we're not necessarily aware of. And as you might remember from school, our atmosphere, the air that we breathe, the stuff in this room, was created. It wasn't there when the planet was made. When the planet was made, Earth's original atmosphere was rich in methane, ammonia, water vapor, and the noble gas neon, but it lacked free oxygen. Oxygen was made. First life made oxygen. The first species created the oxygen that we breathe today, and that basically gave power to all kinds of new life forms, and all of a sudden everything breathes oxygen, but it also, and that's the sad thing, it killed all old life. All the old life is dead. All those things don't exist anymore because they couldn't deal with oxygen. They rusted. They rusted to death. They oxidized. And today, we now have a new atmosphere also on this planet, and this new atmosphere is also created, and this new atmosphere is basically created by us. And this new atmosphere is data. And data gives all powers to new life forms. Everything that is new often is based on data. All those things are based on data, and it kills off again the old life. Poof, all those things are dead. They don't exist anymore. So data is an oxygen that your business has to be able to breathe in order to survive. See, Amazon can breathe data, Borders couldn't. Poof, Borders is dead, right? Netflix can breathe data, Blockbuster couldn't, poof, is dead. So because of breathable oxygen, back then, a million years ago, life exploded. We had the Cambrian explosion. There used to be a bunch of animals, green, blue, yellow, and then poof, everything, worms, snakes, all kinds of animals, right? Everything exploded in the Cambrian explosion because they had one common atmosphere, woof, that they could breathe. And because of breathe, and our lives breathes stuff from the atmosphere in and stuff and other stuff out. It might not be the same thing. Plants and humans breathe differently, but that is basically what happens. Because of breathable data, businesses are exploding. All of a sudden, you have new startups, new services, new ideas, new everything. Poof, it's a Cambrian explosion of businesses. You only had 1 or 2 big players, and now you have billions and billions of small players that actually have special services. And all the things that you have breathed data in, like where your plane is, songs that your friends like, there's things that you should buy because your wife sent you an email, and it breathes things out, where you are, what you like, what you bought. And basically because of breathable data that is not only happening now with mobile devices, but with everything that's a connected bike, for instance, businesses are exploding. And this is amazing because with data, your business will flourish. And there's many, many examples. I like bikes, so here's a bike example. E-bikes are booming, and they are connected, and bike sharing is booming, and that is also connected, where you can basically track the bikes and see where they are, because they breathe data in and breathe data out. And without data, your business will die. So in a world where bike sharing and e-bikes are exploding, a very traditional German bike company died. Here it is, Kettler. Kettler just died. And that can't be. You can't be a totally famous brand that everybody knows, and you don't do the jump to new technology, and you're dead. Because you didn't breathe data. You weren't where the customers were, you weren't where the development were, you basically stuck to the old technology. I know how to tie my tie, I know how to tie my shoes, but people want different things. I don't care, I keep tying my tie. It's not a good thing. Move on, right? Because of breathable data, success is exploding. All those new things are all based on data. That's all data-based businesses. And because of breathable data, knowledge is exploding. The knowledge doubling curve, the time it takes for one entity to know twice as much than before, in the year 1900, it took 100 years. So it took 100 years for us to know twice as much than the people before. In the year 1925, 25 years. Now, 13 months. Every 13 months, we know twice as much as the people before. Why? Because there's sensors, there's data, there's everything. If you know Fast Park in Moscow, for instance, Moscow puts sensors in every parking spot on all the streets. So how do you find parking? You know where it is. You simply look on your smartphone and say, there's parking. Boop, you book it, you drive there. How do you find, or in Vienna, how do you find parking in Vienna? Maybe there. Maybe you guess, maybe in that street, maybe if I'm lucky. Let's do a lucky dance, maybe let's do the lucky parking dance. And it doesn't work. You know, knowledge is what helps, what creates services. And knowledge in reality in Moscow, I think, saved 15% of gasoline already. And I think tons and tons of time and stuff like that. So knowledge is doubling, stuff is doubling, and it's doing it very, very fast. So we can say that development is running, okay? Development is running is very easy to say. But if you're a company, you don't want to run. If you're a company, you want to have both feet on the ground. That's where I stand. I don't move. I'm Kettler. I'm dead. Not good, right? The minimum thing you have to do is walk, okay? Walk is 1 foot off the ground, 1 foot on the ground. Very safe, very precise, no problems. But then other people will be faster. Why are they faster? Because they run. What is running? Doof, doof, doof. Both feet off the ground is running. That is what running is. Just imagine you go to your boss, hey boss, we have both feet off the ground. And if you're an old company, you say, oh my God, that's major, that's really, really dangerous. You know, we have both feet off the ground, not good. Oh, that's too. But if you're a young company, we have both feet off the ground. Awesome, we are flying, nothing stops us. Both feet off the ground is the best position to be in. And the thing is, the fact is the same. Both companies have both feet off the ground, but one is afraid and the other one dreams, you know. And I invite you, obviously, to be the one that dream and to think you can go anywhere if you have both feet off the ground. But the reality often is different. So let's look at both feet off the ground moments. Whenever there's new technology, new opportunities, new development, it always starts with a both feet off the ground moment because we don't know what's going to happen. We have both feet off the ground. Are we flying or is it dangerous? We don't know. Let's take the telephone. Telephone was invented. When the telephone was invented, it was a total both feet off the ground moment. The Queen of England was one of the first people to actually get a telephone. And she said, and the person said, "Here, Queen of England, is a telephone." And she said, "Yay, long live the Queen." She didn't know what to do with it. What do you do with a phone? I don't know. What do you do with Twitter? I don't know. So it's a moment where something new happens and you don't know what it is. So what she did was very much what teenagers would do. She connected her telephone to the opera and listened to people sing. So she streamed music. That's what she did. She streamed music and she said, "Hey, cool, you can go to the opera without paying for the ticket, free music, awesome." She told all her friends about it. Telephone was good, almost 1 foot on the ground. And they said, everybody has to have one. And we put one on each desk, and it's a desktop, and you couldn't put it here, and then somebody rings, and you go here, and you pick it up, and you can talk. And then the development got even better, and you had almost both feet on the ground, and you had laptops. You could actually telephone like this, and then you had mobile phones, and you can walk around in the house and be on the telephone, and everybody said, "We have both feet on the ground. I know what landline telephones are like. We know it all. We're so happy." And then, boom, the thing leaps, and somebody invents the real mobile phone. And as you might remember, when the real mobile phone was invented, totally both feet off the ground. The people thought that maybe 4,000 people, maybe 5,000 people on the planet would like a mobile phone. Who needs a mobile phone? Maybe a general, maybe some head of a super big corporation, not regular people. They can just go to a phone booth, right? But obviously, we all know, everybody had a mobile phone. Nokia was really happy, set their rubber boots and said, "Yay, we're the kings of the world. We have both feet off the ground. We dominate the world. What could happen now?" Boom! The smartphone was invented, and again, nobody knew what it was good for. Why do you need one? It doesn't have a USB stick. Isn't that idiotic, right? Can't even dial. It's not a really good phone. Hard to type, blah, blah, blah. Millions of reasons why it shouldn't work, but obviously it worked, and everybody has a smartphone now. So the thing is not only that all those curves start with the both feet off the ground moment, the scary thing is that each curve is dominated by somebody else. So curve number one is dominated by player number one. In Austria, where I'm from, definitely Siemens. Everybody had a Siemens phone. And then curve number two, player number two, Nokia, not Siemens. So Siemens was going, damn. And then Nokia stands there, and all of a sudden curve number three is dominated by Apple or Samsung, neither Nokia nor Siemens. So what that means is that they see that it's happening, but they can't do the jump. They can't do the leap to the new technology, and this is not old. It's been with us forever. If you look at the 1970s, the world belongs to the can, and everything you had, you put in cans. Cans were everywhere. You had something, I don't know, what shall we do with it? Put it in a can, Chocolate coffee was in cans, chocolate tea, everything in cans. 1920, the world belongs to block ice. So ice was delivered to places like these, and the girls came, put the ice there, and then he said, "Oh, I'm hot. Can you rub me down a little bit with ice?" "Oh, you never wanted that with the can." I know, but the ice is much better. And everybody had ice and everything was happy, and then the 1950s came and it got a lot more asexual because we had electric refrigerators, but it was good. Everybody had an electric refrigerator, everybody was happy. And you probably now have all electric refrigerators. You don't get block ice delivered. But my question to you is, not do you have a refrigerator, but how many people moved from producing cans to block ice? Again, nobody. How many people moved from producing block ice to refrigerators? Nobody. And they all saw it happen. It's not that in some Swiss mountain, Swiss engineers were going, we developed the electric refrigerator. And then 3 days from now, we're going to unleash it to the world, and all the block ice people will die. It's totally not like that. We all see it. Look, another one who has a block ice thing. Look, another one who has basically a wearable device. Look, another one who 3D prints. Look, another one who offers this. We see those things happening. We see them around them, but we think, look, another one who's doing it, but why should we change? Why should we change? Why us? Shouldn't the others change? Not me, I advise the others to change. That's much easier than if I have to change, And why now? Can't we change, after Christmas? Have it a little bit easier, at least until the end of the year. And even why change and what is change? And obviously, I used to work in advertising. In advertising, you have those products, and this is a dishwashing detergent. I think it's in all the German-speaking countries, and they look at it and they say, yeah, it's a good detergent, but it's not modern. We need to change, you know. And they say, yeah, it's a good idea, we need to change. Let's get really good designers, and let's get powerful people, and they have the best people developing on the change, and they work on the change, and then they have test groups and stuff like that, and finally they have the revolution, and they unleash it, and boom, there it is. And then they go, my God, let's open the champagne, you know. And they celebrate, and they're extremely happy because that is the future of dishwashing detergent, and they know it. It's big, bold, powerful, you know, and it even generates 2% market growth. So in a market that is saturated where nothing moved for decades, boom. And that's us, you know, and you copy that. And they're really, really happy until somebody buys a designer kitchen, puts the product in the kitchen and throws up, right? And he says, God, shit, look at how ugly this product is. It's disgusting. I don't know, €2.50 is destroying 100,000 euros, and it's horrible. Take this product away from me. And then he does something that the people didn't do before. Instead of thinking, why? He thinks, why not? Why not? Why not invent a designer detergent for designer kitchens? He does that method, it's called, sells $75 million in 2008 and has 3,400% growth in the next 3 years. And for the creatives among you, 3,400 is a lot more than 2. 2% growth is good, but 3,400 is, man, that's really, really a lot, right? So it's really, really, really good. So why is the 2% question? And the 2% question is good because it improves the existing. So it looks at the existing, looks at the details, and improves them. Like, for instance, you look at the telephone, you take the telephone apart, there's all these parts, and you see, here's the receiver, and you take the receiver apart, and there's a loudspeaker, and you take the loudspeaker apart, and there's a coil, and you optimize this coil, and it's 2% cheaper, or 2% better, or 2% whatever. And you do that over and over and over again, and in fact, it's a really, really good thing because you can move from that phone after a while to this phone, which is a lot cooler phone. But it is not the jump to a smartphone. It is not a jump to a wearable device, because it is still a phone. You optimize the existing thing. You keep working on the curve. So you might actually improve the wrong stuff, but you're still improving, you're happy, you gain 2%, but it's not the leap, right? Why not is the leap? And why not is the 3,400% question? And why not challenges the existing? It doesn't improve it, it challenges it. It challenges the existing, and it looks at the big picture. So if you look at a telephone, what is the big picture of the telephone? Not some loudspeaker. The big picture of the telephone is communication. That's what it is. It's all about communication. So you basically ask yourself, why not have communication everywhere? And you might invent the mobile phone. Why not have every kind of communication, even emails and apps and stuff like that? Why just audio? And you might invent the smartphone. So why not is a much, much better question. But we often think, never change a winning horse. Stay what we do, both feet on the ground, I know how to tie my tie. We are not Swiss engineers in some mountains developing crazy stuff, right? We know what we do, so we should basically keep doing what we're doing. Never change a winning horse. But let's look why the horse is winning. Number one, it's a super horse. Man, what a great horse. Your company, what a beautiful company. It has so much power. What a powerful horse, right? On top of the horse, the jockey and the horse, your CEO, the CEO and the company, the jockey and the horse are one unit. If the CEO goes like this, the horse goes like that. You can steer the company beautifully. And you say, man, look at this. We cannot be beaten. Because you have the strongest company with the smartest CEO on top, and everything is cool. But in order to win, you have to look at stuff outside of you, all this green stuff. All the green stuff also determines if you win, because the environment you operate in is crucial. If I leave the horse and the jockey exactly as it is, your company and the CEO exactly as they are, and the only thing is you change the environment and you throw them in the ocean, all of a sudden they're no more good. All of a sudden you have new winners, dolphins. The slowest animal on earth. Nobody is slower than a dolphin. If you put a dolphin on the beach, it goes, can't walk, nothing, right? But in the ocean, the dolphin is really, really good. Why is the dolphin good? Because the dolphin adapted. He adapted his body and rearranged the muscles and the breathing and all these kinds of things. And he adapted his fin things. You know, it used to be that we have hands, and he adapted them and made fins out of them. It's just a reshuffling of stuff, but he adapted to a new environment, and now he's the new winner. And if he's the new winner, by definition, the other one is the new loser. And normally it's a relatively brutal thing. Quentin Tarantino style. So let's look at winning and losing. We all know what we need to win. We all know the 4 aces that we need to have, right? You have to have an awesome product. You have an awesome product. You have to have an awesome marketing campaign. You have that. Awesome pricing, awesome distribution. You have all those things, marketing, product, distribution, prices, and you have the cards here, and there's the money, and you say the money is mine because I have all the aces, and what do you have? And I say, I have a gun. And then you say, you can't have a gun. I say, yeah, look, I do have a gun. Clack, 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 clack. And you say, well, you can't do that. That's totally illegal. You can't just pull a gun. This is a poker game. And I said, exactly. It's illegal, but guess who's winning? And we all know that 1 Smith & Wesson beats 4 aces. It is illegal, you must not do that, but that's the fact of business, right? If you look at the record industry, they had 4 aces, perfect product, perfect distribution. We loved records, perfect artwork. We collected them, we looked at them. Oh, look how the Beatles look like now, whatever, right? And then Napster pulled a gun, completely illegal. Those were the first kids that basically download services. The police came, kicked in the door, dragged the kids, 5 years, 7 years, 9 years, jail, clack, clack, no. Watch your head, you know, all those kinds of things. And they were in jail, but the gun was out. The gun was out, and then all of a sudden, obviously, iTunes came, and iTunes said, yay, I make it legal, and it's 99 cents, and you don't buy the album, but just a single song. What could happen to us, you know? It's 99 cents is so cheap, and then Spotify came and says, you know what's even cheaper? Nothing. And I give you just access. And now Apple had to adapt to Spotify with Apple Music, where it's just access. And it's the same pricing, because there's a new gun. That's the new rule. That's how we now play. We play this way now. And you had to do that, right? So 5 observations from this case. Observation number 1, the market for the single solution, whatever that solution is unstable. So that basically means the records will die, iTunes will die, Spotify will die. But the market for the basic need is stable. We want to listen to music, no matter on what device, by what service, right? So the market for listening to music is stable, and the market for keeping food fresh is stable, be that in a can, or block ice, or a refrigerator, or, I don't know, laser beams, or powerful man dwarfs going like this. It doesn't matter. We need fresh food, no matter what the technological solution is, right? So the writing is on the wall. You need to understand the core of your business in order to stay in business, because otherwise you will die. Otherwise you're the bee and you will die in that bottle. So understand the core. I need to get out. That's not the right way. I need to get out another way. I need to keep food fresh. That's not a good way. I need to invent another way. Think about the core of the business. The German car industry used to produce autos, cars, and now they produce mobility with self-driving cars and concepts like that, and Drive Now and Car2Go. Rolls-Royce air engines used to do flight engines, and they sold the engine, and now they sell flight. They sell the flying time. They sell the time that you operate the engines. The core business is not an engine. The core business is flight. And if it's later done by dwarfs thinking, they can still sell flight time. So think about the thing, find the basic need. Learning number 1. The solutions get more simple for the user. That's always the case, right? Let's look again at the can thing. A can, in order to have a regular can from the 1920s, whatever, you needed to have a can opener. If the can opener is in the can, it's a big problem. We've all been, at least I see some of, like my age, we all been to camping sites with a can and a rock and go toof, 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 you know. Not very easy to open. It's a lot easier to simply plug something in. And now my son has an Apple Watch, and you don't need to plug the Apple Watch in because it's induction. You know, it just loads like this. And if you tell my son, oh, you have to plug it in, he goes like, oh God, plug it in. Can it just be induction? And it's this big thing he has to do. Oh my God, Friday I have to plug something in. So again, the writing is on the wall. Simplicity drives our decisions, right? A camera is a very good thing. It does awesome photos, but you have to have it on you. It's a lot simpler to simply use your phone, right? A record player is an awesome instrument. It has, you know, very superior sound, but you have to have it on you. It's a lot simpler to have it on your phone. Basically, now we have one interface for everything, from maps to phones to parking to paying, every kind of thing, because it's easier for us. We don't need to think. We have basically one interface that we know how to operate, and if it's a new interface, it's really complicated. You needed to learn how to operate your camera. You needed to learn how to set the VCR. You needed to learn how to do those things, and now it's all just cluck, cluck, push, play. It's a lot easier. So easy wins, right? If it gets easier for the user, however, it gets a lot more complex for the supplier, for you guys. And you wanted to have it easy yourself, right? It is, I was in the Nordic countries recently. There was a Nordic delivery conference, and the people wanted to say, if you want to ship this chair, like with the post or UPS, the first thing they will do is they will say, how big is it? How much does it weigh? What do you don't know? How big it is and how much it weighs. I don't have a scale. How should I know how big it is, right? So they want me to fill it out so that they don't have to measure it. They don't have to weigh it. There's a new competitor now, and you ship it like this. That's what I want to ship. And if it's a weird object, they ask you to put one reference object next to it, a can of beer, a cat, whatever it is. And they will measure how big it approximately is and how much it approximately weighs. And that's a lot easier. And people love that service because they don't have to measure, they don't have to weigh, just take a photo, it's being shipped, and of course they really rock the market right now. Everybody could make a can at home. It is super easy to make a can. All you need is metal, and you bend it and you put a lid on top. So people in their spare time used to make cans. What are we going to do tonight? Let's make a can. Put something in, the cat. Nobody makes a refrigerator at home. And making a refrigerator at home is really, really complicated. And if you now connect the refrigerator to the internet and it sees that you're out of milk, and there's a system that already orders milk, and there's a payment system and a logistics system, it connects with the things in the supermarket, it's extremely complicated for you. You have to get all those things somewhere. It's very easy for me. So I like it. You dread it, right? But embrace when there's work. If you need to bust your brain how to figure out and connect things, it's good for you. So make stuff easier for the others, not for you. Next thing, the time frames we think in get way and way shorter. My dad used to own his car. 10 years, 15 years, polish it, you know. Then we lease things, 3 years, 5 years, blah, blah, blah. Now I have a car 20 minutes because I have car sharing. I just drive to the airport, I leave it, boom, gone, right? So it's a lot shorter. The reaction time of people when you're a waiter is a while. You know, you say, hey, can I have a beer? Yeah, one moment, one moment, one moment. So the reaction time is always post time. Then there's real time. If you order your food immediately on a program, immediately the people in the kitchen without a waiter see, oh, that's what he wants in real time, you know. That's why it's going everywhere. McDonald's has it, everybody has it. In China they have it. And now we move from real time, thanks to data and predictive analysis, to before time solutions where Amazon sends you things before you actually order it. What if you go to a restaurant and they immediately know that you want the beer? What if you could basically, when you're skiing, you could tell them, I want a beer, they measure where your location is, 7 minutes before you arrive, they send a little signal to the guy goes like this, clack, clack, clack. They see you arrive and they say, here's your beer. That's really, really good. Why does it work? Because I ordered it before time. Before time is the new real time. Real time is really, really now too slow. Whatever it is, if you agree or not, my advice is the speed displaces cost as the main driver for purchasing decisions. Speed is getting really, really important. If you can have that chair now for 2 or 3 euros more, you will buy it now rather than to wait a week or 2 or 3. Speed is becoming very, very, very crucial. Make stuff faster. The solutions move from a silo to an ecosystem, which is very obvious, right? The record industry was a silo. You listen to the record on your record. There's a party. You have to bring this record, carry all the records to the parties. Boom, put it on. Now everybody could dance. You had to bring the silo of the music to the place. Spotify, obviously, is an ecosystem, right? Festival playlists. It connects with Shazam. You hear a song, you just Shazam it. You know, that's the song. Boof, you'll download it on Spotify. One button, very easy. It's an ecosystem. I'm from Austria. Red Bull is not a drink. It's an ecosystem of adrenaline. And the ecosystem is the core aspect, in my point of view, of an ecosystem is that it is not you. The ecosystem are others. That is Felix Baumgartner jumping. Not a Red Bull employee, not Matuschets, not the owner. It's a different guy. If you're not an ecosystem, you're just bigger. But if you're an ecosystem, you work together with others. So working with others defines what an ecosystem is. Ecosystem needs partners. So in order to grow an ecosystem, you need to work with partners. Your customer is an ecosystem. I don't know, are there any people running in the room? Runners? Okay, who's a smart runner with a device? Anybody? A bunch of people. Who's a smart connected runner? Bunch of people also. Smart connected runner are people that can run with their friends and stuff, and there's certain services, right? The runner system of a connected runner is that you can do competitions, you can have cheers when you're running in the rain, the people say, yeah, great, you did it, and you can even have training, now run like this or run like that. That's the runner system. But if you now work with, and that can all be done by your device, that's all within the device. But if you now collaborate with partners, people outside of you, you already have a runner ecosystem. And the runner ecosystem is totally different because all of a sudden you can say, hey, if you were to run the New York Marathon, you would be place number 158. Can I sell you a trip to New York? Maybe you need insurance for that. You know, I can sell you that. I can give you nutrition advice. I can invent you to invents in healthcare and stuff like that. And all those things are not you. That's not the device, but it's the partners. And all of a sudden, the ecosystem is very, very important. So the solution is very easy. Connected services outperform silos, because if you can have a watch that just tells you how fast you are versus something that can sell you trips to New York, give you other rewards, connect you with your health insurance, decrease your health insurance payment and all those kinds of things, you would probably go to the one that is not the silo. Fluid rules. The fluid system, the systems that are changing. We have fluid content. Basically, you ran 5 kilometers, the next Gatorade is 3.5K away, you know, because it knows where you are and where Gatorade is. We even have fluid discounts. There's new discounts. I like this one in an American mall. If you walk by the shop 20 times without getting in, you get 20% discount. You walk by our store 20 times, get 20% discount now. If you walk 5% times more, 25% discount. Awesome. So we have fluid discounts. And the thing is that Gartner, the company, said by 2017, fluid processes that can shift as customers' needs shift will be used by 70% of successful business models. So that's a huge, huge thing. So make your stuff fluid. That's really, really important. Build your ecosystem. Print and online, obviously, is a very, very strong ecosystem. The solutions get closer to the user. It used to be that you had to go to the phone, ring, 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 too late, right? Then the phone was with you. If you're an American, you had it on your belt. And now you have it on your watch, which of course is closer. Get closer to the users. What do we know about the user? What is the user? Thanks to all those devices that we have that are very close to the users, that are breathing in data and breathing out data constantly, we know a lot about our user. We know tons and tons and tons of stuff about our user, right? Mainly data. It used to be before 2000, the customer data was very pudgy, right? We basically knew maybe the name, what the person bought, and if the person liked it or returned it, that's it, right? Then by 2010, we had social data, and the picture already got a little bit better because we know what they tweeted about, what they, what they loved, if they liked something and stuff like that. And now we have contextual data, and contextual data is an ultra-clear picture of the customer. customer. We know exactly where the customer is. Oh, you're in a store. How much money do you still have? Oh, the person still has tons and tons of money. They just went running. They must be very, very thirsty. They're in this location. They tweeted about this and that. You know, all kinds of stuff that we know makes stuff very specific. We can basically target information ultra specifically. We don't necessarily do that. There's also a privacy issue, but from a technical point of view, we know everything. Very easy example is that a sensor can measure if you're sleepy or not. That is basically a Mercedes car can do that when you're driving. There's a sensor, and the sensor sees if your eyes go up or down, which is old technology. If you had a Mercedes like even 3 years ago, the steering wheel will shake and wake you up. So it is in the system. It's not a connected system. It's a silo solution, right? But now it's not a silo anymore because it's out there. We know the data. And that's why we can start tweaking information people are exposed to conveniently. That is what advertising becomes. It's tweaking information that people are exposed to conveniently. So you're tired. What's the most convenient thing in your car? Probably your navigation system. And if the navigation system tells you there's a Starbucks, what do? Probably go to the Starbucks. And if the navigation system tells you, hey, there's a McCafe, what do you do now? Probably go to the McCafe. So basically, the information that you see conveniently solves your problem, and you do it immediately. But now think it's not a Starbucks or a McCafe, now think it's 100 liters of gasoline. And the machine says, I have somebody who needs 100 liters of gasoline. Who wants to be on the navigation system? I see €1, €5, 5, 10, 10, 15, 15, 25, 35, €1.42, boom, British petrol, you get it. And this is not a dream, this is a reality.
Imagine a car that's able to provide drivers with real-time services and offers based on their location, route, and preferences. Imagine your car advising you where to fill up and inviting you to a free cup of coffee. And all you need to do is agree. And the navigation system takes you there. Imagine your car could sense your desires and reach out for suitable offers from various providers nearby. Wouldn't that make everyone's life more enjoyable?
Yes. So this is happening already. This is the world that we're living in. We have contextual data. And knowing the data is a service. If I know that you're out of gasoline, and I even warn you because it's predictive and you're entering Death Valley, and I say, hey, you need to gas up, otherwise you're dead, it's a service. It's a good thing. Knowing that there's parking is a good thing. Guessing is spam. Are you running out of gas now? Do you need to gas up now? I can find you parking. You know, that's annoying, you know, but if you know it, it is a service. We move, therefore, from company-centered action, I want to tell them that I have gasoline, I want to tell them that there's parking, to customer-centered interaction. Huge, huge difference. Customer experience is the most impactful area of innovation available to business today. In the back, there's tons of experiences. I like the Mind one. I can show you what you can do with the Mind one really quickly.
Where participants use biosensors on their head to fly a virtual plane towards their dream destination. It's really interesting to think about people dreaming of a place that they want to go, that they haven't been to before. Because they'll have to create a mental image of that place and concentrate on it for the length of the game.
Представлял Барселону, представлял Испанию, представлял этот особняк, где живет мой друг Андрей.
В какой-то момент подумала о том, что мне сегодня надо еще молока купить там, и тут все пошло коту под хвост.
Я в абсолютном шоке, просто я не верю.
You know, the old saying that if you can dream it, you can do it, in this case is actually true. If you can actually concentrate on your dream place, you can go there.
I think this is a very good example about embracing new technology. The technology is in the back available. You can try it out yourself. I just put it in real quick. And I think it's a beautiful thing because, again, the customer is a single person thinking. The others are watching. It's like a sports event. You don't address all the others. You basically interact with one individual, and the others can share it or talk about it. So the client is not the mass anymore. The client is not the mass, because the mass is lots of individuals and they're all weird. I even advised recently a tea manufacturer, and we talked about tea and making tea at home and stuff like that, and they actually said that most people have that little special secret on how to make tea. Oh, and then I add this little bit of cinnamon, or I add a little bit of blah, 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 or I stir it this way or that way. Because they are weird. They're specials, people that are special. And the brand, the customer is the hero, but the brand is the cool stuff that he or she needs to become the hero. The brand is basically the mirror in which I see myself. If I wear that, I'm much cooler than if I'm not wearing it. So the brand is a service that upgrades your customer. So where's the ad? The ad is not the big thing that we see anymore. The ad now is the individual thing right there. We used to work with USPs, everybody in branding. We called it the unique selling proposition. But in reality, it was a uniform selling proposition because it was true for everybody. Everybody had to buy the stuff for the same reason. And now, due to contextual data, individualization and stuff, we are moving to the ISP, the individual selling proposition. And the individual selling proposition is much stronger. But one last thing in the last 5 minutes, being at the right place, at the right time, with the right channel and the right message. I know that you ran. I know that you're thirsty. I know where you are, and I know where the Gatorade is. Does not necessarily mean that the person buys it. It just means that you don't make a mistake. You're not advertising to me when I'm far away, not thirsty, didn't work out. You do everything right, but the final thing is not necessarily there. Because only emotions drive the action. The difference between emotion and reason is that reason leads to conclusion and emotion leads to action. You might know the example. If you walk by the river, I don't know, in Vienna it's the Danube, you walk by the Danube, you have an important meeting, you have a good suit on, somebody falls into the Danube, what do? Somebody should save him. There's a person in the water. Does anybody have a mobile phone? We have to call the police. Somebody should do something. If your kid falls into the water, boom, you're in the water immediately, right? You jump after the kid no matter what. So the emotion gives the action of actually saving the person. You know that you should save them, but if you do it, then you do it. Emotions dominate. And the actual thing is that we think about those kinds of things all the time. The connections from the emotional system to the rational system are stronger than the other way around. So don't just ask yourself, what is the right thing to say? Don't just ask yourself, what is a good thing to say? Ask yourself also, where's the fun? Where's the emotion? Where's the fun? Where's the wow? Where's the sex? Where's the danger? Where's the brand? Where's the brand? The brand needs technology because you need to grow and you need to evolve. But the brand also needs more than technology. Brand needs to inspire. A brand needs to connect. A brand needs to empower. And a brand needs to create meaningful experiences for people, cultures, and life. Thank you very much.
Are there any questions? That was quite a powerful presentation. Thank you very much for that. I think we have all enjoyed it dearly. Honestly, no questions?
If there's no questions, I have 5 more minutes. 2 more minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay, can you switch me back on? Ta-da! Switch me back on. No? Okay. We think this is true for all, but not for me. And the reason is that we tend to exempt ourselves from examples. And we exempt ourselves from examples was written by Kahneman. Kahneman is a psychiatrist, not in a business book. So your business is not different from the others, but you think it is different from the others. You think that the others should do something. You have the advice for the others. Right? And that is a very, very strong thing. We don't like to learn, and if we like to learn, then we need to, if we need to learn, we'd like to copy the existing. Why? Because we have mirror neurons, and mirror neurons help us copy stuff. And we love copying stuff.
Oh, you look like a little monkey.
One more. Yay! And if you're a manager, then you copy best practice. That's what they did. King. And that's what this other country did. King. And this is how I should do it. King. You just copy best practice, right? Because you follow the rules. But my last words in the last 1 second is leaders look for the big new ideas, and leaders break the old rules. And leaders make the new rules, because leaders know that change will happen, either to you or because of you. Thank you very much again.